there, welcome to his garage. I am standing here with the fork of my daughter's scooter, or the fork legs of it at least. One of them is leaking and the other one was, well, both were looking kind of, quite sad. There were corrosion marks. Yeah, they weren't pretty. So first of all, I've resprayed them. I've taken away the oxidation or corrosion and I sprayed them with, what was it? It was aluminium rim wheel paint. A special primer that works well for aluminium, and then some kind of silvery coat like that. But the thing is then how to replace the fork seal, and I will try to show you that. Now one can of course wonder, why is the fork seal leaking? Has someone been using a chrome polish or something here? Because that's not very wise to do. But this is kind of, you know, cheap scooter. Even though it's a Honda, it's not super duper in every detail. So the chrome is probably a bit of a cheap or low quality coating, or at least rather thin, I would think, because that might be difficult to see or to show like this, but maybe. But there are small corrosion dots or damages here, especially above the stroke. And maybe there's one little pit or something that's been, something that's gone further down. So I've used acid, you know, this kind of orange thing. That you can buy in some car, spare part shops, whatever you call it. So they've been bathing in acid, and then the corrosion disappears. But of course there are now small pits, or whatever you call it, here. So this fork will start to corrode very easily again, of course. I don't think it will start to leak right away, but it will start to corrode quite quickly. So I am going to experiment here a bit. I'm going to use this thing, bellow maybe it's called, rubber boot or something that sits over here. And like that, if I just oil them slightly with the fork oil also on the kind of the outside, and then put this thing over, then I hope that this will not start to corrode right away. So it will give the fork quite a few more years of service, I hope, at least, because these are not cheap to buy new. This thing here, what could that cost? I think I heard a figure. Was it some 80 euros or something for one? And that's just this chrome steel rod or tube or whatever you call it. Now, how much money do I want to spend on this? Well, I called Honda, and then they said, okay, a fork seal, you know, it looked like this, 20 euro each, and the dust cover, another 20 euro each. So I don't know, I thought it was a bit expensive. Maybe I'm just, too economical sometimes. But anyways, so I bought fork seals, Athena, some pirate fork seals, but with every dimension correct. And I will, dimensions and other data I will write in the text below the film, so to speak, or the video. So these were 2 for 20. And then I think I spent some 15 for a pair of these ones. And where do you find these? Well, moped shops on the internet. I think these are for a PGO. Is that short for Peugeot, or is there something called PGO? I don't know. I will measure and put the dimensions in the text also. Now, getting this dust cover off is really easy. I just took some old knife that's not really sharp anymore and just carefully open it here, because I've had tape here and I've, resprayed it. So now this is really loose. It's just to take it off. So now I will reuse this one. But one question is then, how much of oil, fork oil, is there inside here? And I haven't got a clue. I tried to find specification for that, but couldn't find it. So I will have to try to, no, I will drain these. And there's one screw at the bottom area there, so I will see how much that comes out, and I will try to get it into this kind of measurement device. It's up to 100 milliliters there. So let's see if I succeed without spilling too much. I will give that a try. Now maybe I should have tried to just open this one slightly before I took it off the bike, and the same goes for that one. But I have, you know, these rubber coated things here, so I will see if this works. I think so. And I have a 6mm Allen key. Let's see here. Ah, God. Yep, loose, good. Then let's see if that's where the oil comes out. I would think so. So let me see here. Can you see something? So that was black, or is black. Huh, not very exciting. Well, let's see now. This isn't very quick, but now I hope, let's see here. So 40 milliliters. Let me think now. That's kind of strange, because I've already drained that one and I got some, what was it, 50 or 55 milliliters out of it. Strange. Now with that screw loose, there's a little copper washer in there also. Then I should be able to pull or take this apart. Oh no, some more oil. But just a little. Let's see what happens now. But fine. I did call a Honda workshop to learn a bit more about this and the volume. They didn't really know. I was recommended 15W heavy fork oil, so I bought that. If it should be synthetic or mineral in this fork, no idea, but this is a full synthetic. Hope it works. Then let me see here. So I have to take a little, first of all I want to protect that one. More paper. Then the seal is there. So I will see if I can get it out. I have this little funny tool. It looks like this. Yeah, it's the lock ring that I'm after right now. I think it's better to do like this. Here we go. By the way, it's not so good to get debris down there, so I will put a bit of paper in here also, so I don't get a lot of, I don't know what, dust, debris in it. Now let's see. No, that won't work either. Screwdriver. Let's see here. There we go. So there's a little clip. I've seen that some kits, these clips are new, so it depends on how heavily corroded it is or not, but this one looks fine. Then the seal, and to poke that up out of position, I will try not to damage anything, so I will put a piece of wood there. Will this work? It will be a bit difficult to get something under that edge. Should I have something flatter than this? Just a minute. This was not easy. This is very blunt, so it doesn't make any sharp marks there, at least. Is there someone that has a better idea? I'm welcome for proposals, but let's see. Oh, now. Yeah, this is a bit of a thinner protection instead of that wood piece. Now things are happening at last. Okay, next seal. The question is, did I damage something here? No, I did not. Good. Because if one damages the inner diameter of this fork leg, then I don't know, maybe oil can seep out on the outside of the seal instead. So this is a bit of poking. This is the worst bit of this. But now, yeah, good. There is a little washer there also. Just wiping away some old oil. I will push in more paper just to wipe away as much of the old oil as possible. Okay. Now I would think that there is also oil inside this thing, because the spring is in here, and you know it like that. So I will see. Now again, this should have been done with the bike, with the fork on the bike already, but if I touch high up here where there's already corrosion damage and I have this rubber clad thing, then I hope, and this is a 10mm Allen key. No. Now an option is of course to hit it a bit. Sometimes things just come loose when you impact. So, sorry, but let's see. That made a difference. Very good. Oh, the spring, who knows, it might fly. It did not fly. No, wasn't much oil coming that way, but it's for sure easier to fill it this way. That's probably the only way. Ah well, and a bit of oil there. Good. It didn't crack. But back with the spring. So I would say that with a bit of spilling here and there and so on, and here we're getting close to 50, so I'd say just over 50 milliliters seems to be the volume in this fork leg. Now it's time to try to get things together again. Let me think. So the washer goes in here, and then a new seal. There are lots of small funny numbers on it. It says 26, 37, 10.5. So 26 must be the fork leg diameter. Indeed. 26 is the fork leg diameter, then this should probably be 37 then. Yes, spot on. And then it's 10.5 high, I would think. Of course, yes. All right. So then this should be lubricated a bit, I would say, because then it will slide in there more easy. So just a few drops of new oil there. I have paper on the floor because there will be a little bit of oil coming all the way through. Come on. Let's see here. Do like this. Oil, oil, oil. Oil. And then one should of course not damage the seal, and it should sit where this little metal ring is more visible, downwards like that. And so I found a socket, and I'm putting a bit of paper here because I don't want whatever debris there's on this one falling into the fork leg. And the diameter of this is of course then slightly smaller than 37. Yeah, 36, so that's good. And then I will try to tap it down. So the washer is there. Is it upside down or not? Let me see. Yeah, I was about to put it there upside down. That's all. Or can you? Is it symmetrical? I got confused now. No, the numbers should be upwards as far as I can see. So it's like that then. And then of course it should be as deep as the well, it should of course expose the groove, and it needs to look like it's sitting there horizontal. You see a little bit of debris there. There we have it. Good, then the little clip, come on, where did you go? Here you are. And then the clip is in position. Fine. Then is there something else to it? No. Well, a bit of oil on the lips also. Seal lips. There we have that. You want to look at it. Then this one. I will just tighten this by hand just for this installation. And then a few drops of oil. Now, and okay, then let's see, the dust seal also. Okay, there it's seated. Then the screw. Too much paper. Come on. So there should be the copper washer at the lower end, and maybe one should have bought a new one. But I don't have that, so I hope it works twice. If not, if I see that there's a bit of oil dripping from the fork leg, then this copper washer is the primary suspect then. Yeah, I could have lost this thing because it's not attached with the screw. So let's see. Why? What's wrong now? It doesn't want to enter. Oh. What's wrong? Now will this rod... Ah, no. So it will not spin. Let's do like this. Okay. Good. Then filling time. So the old and black oil, some 50 milliliters, have to go into the waste bin. Ah, well, then fresh oil. Oh, there's a little O-ring here, but it looks fine. Good. Sounds a bit funny. All oil isn't down yet, I think. Just looking if there's anything leaking. Doesn't look like that. Good. Then the next little thing then is, of course, this bellow, if that's the right word for it, the rubber thing. Now this is the right fork leg because the brake is on the left, so let's see now. I want a little bit of oil on this poor old chrome. Kind of anti-corrosion protection, something. If this works or not, I don't know, but it's worth a try. And then this thing. Is there... Ah, there's a little breather hole. That one I would like to have backwards. And then I have a little stainless hose clip. I don't know how close the wheel goes here. It will look better if it sits like this. And where's the screwdriver? Ah, it's a 7mm socket. Okay, it will stay there. And then I have another little clamp or hose clip that goes on the upper side. But where it's supposed to be, I will have to set this on the bike. Let's see. Well, something like that, but let's see where it will end up. Good, then it's just to do the same on the other fork leg, and then it's time to get it back on the bike. It's a bit It's a bit tight here, but I'm in the cabin, and here the bike has been for the winter. Let's see now. So the fork sits here, and let's give this a try then. One thing that I'm a bit concerned about is that the Fender has some kind of slots or openings here, and they might touch, but that's another problem, and it's not really related to changing or replacing the fork seal as such. So let's see if we can get things in place here. The bike stands on some block under the kind of engine area. No. Why don't you want to get in there? There we go. It's far from being in its location. Do I need to get the screwdriver in there to get things to open? Oh, that made a difference. Just inserting a little screwdriver there, and then one can also wonder then how far should I push this up. I did take a measurement, and from here where I can't measure right now and up to there, it should be 113 millimeters, but I can't measure. But on the other hand, there are grooves. If you look here, there's a groove here, so the top screw needs to get in there, so one can't make it completely out of position. So let's see, are they the same? They are. And let's see if the top one fits then. It's fine. Okay, then the next fork leg. Let's see. Or maybe it's better just to put on the caliper first, I think. Then it's out of the way. Caliper screw, here's one. And here's the second one. So the threads are in the steel plate, then it sits on the back side here. Oh, like that one. Now you can see that everything on the fork is painted now. So every screw head will touch paint. So I will re-tighten the screws after, I don't know, a bit of time, a week or so. Because the paint will, well, creep or deform slightly, ever so slightly. So it's good to re-tighten something if you got a bit of paint under the screw head. No. Sorry. So that was a 10 millimeter. The next one is it 12? And as you can see, I put a little thing in between the brake handle and the accelerator, just not to to close the caliper while everything is apart. Okay. Then the next one, let's see, one can feel on the top there if it's all the way up, and it's not. That was too much. And then it won't come down. Now they feel the same. Good. and they are bigger than the other one. Are they 15, I think? Indeed they are. But it's a tight fit. Can I even get this one in here? Barely. Not really. How did I must have had an open wrench when I took things apart. That one I can access. So that one doesn't work. I have to get another wrench. So 14mm it is. Can I still do it by hand? I can. No, I can't. I don't have those in 14mm. They just end at 13. Now, before tightening it up completely, I need to check that the front axle holes are reasonably well aligned. Here is the front axle. And the other end is this one. Yeah. There we go. Oh, yes. Perfect. There we go. Now, continue then to tighten things up properly. Okay. Now the fork won't fall off. So, the rubber bellows, whatever you call it, they spin as I push in the fender here. So that's a little bit of a problem. And I've also understood that, you know, this opening here, the clip will of course have to sit like that there. So it is a bit tight, as you can see, but it fits. So it will work. And yeah, I've also cut them a bit then because they were excessive material. Then fender in place, and I have modified the fixings a bit. Let's see here. And all, yeah. Let's see here. So there we go. Now I'm lowering the fender just slightly by putting in some thick washers, maybe one can call it that, because the bike just looks kind of silly with the fender that high. Of course I've checked that you can't get the wheel to hit the inside of the fender, so I've double checked that, of course. Now let's see. This is not all that easy. It complicates the installation a bit. The rear one is easy because there's a wall there. The front ones are not easy at all. Okay, good. That's the fender. It's a bit awkward, but with the wheel off, of course, it's not too bad. You can do this with the wheel on also, but well. So let's see here. Now it's kind of time to get these in position, and I made some white mark that should be on the rear end, or rear side, because that's where the ventilation is, and then that one should be like that. Okay, so since the fork will move relative to the fender, then it's it's only open at the rear here. This side, it looks a bit tight. So I'll see if I can get this thing on. So it needs to be a bit aligned to the middle here. Much better, and there was even a little bit of rubber coming down there. Okay, then a good thing with moving the fender down a bit is that, you see, getting the upper hose clamp attached without lowering the fender a bit, that's not easy. So lowering the fender by some 15 millimeters or something, that seems to be the thing. I will try to get it attached. Let's see here. So yeah, here it comes. See? I will attach it in that upper position, and typically when the bike is ridden, of course it moves down a bit, so this stretch of this rubber part should be fine. Okay. Yeah, here you can see quite well in this light the small corrosion pits that is left after putting acid there. Then the corrosion kind of disappeared, but it leaves pits. Fortunately they are up there, and I'm now going to cover them with this rubber and the hose clip. But in all honesty, I must say that I should have left these ones unattached when I put on the fender, of course, because it will be scratched otherwise. But up here I could have or should have had the small ones on, because getting them on here while the fender is there, well, this is requiring a bit of patience, I must say. So the upper clamp, or clip as it was saying on the back, is there. The lower one is there. Where the screw is will just about fit in that slot that is open at the it's difficult to see. Well, it's just about fits there. Good. Now then it's just time to get the wheel back in position. So let's see. Into the caliper, and it doesn't want. Yes, it. I should have something under the wheel, a little wooden block, and this thing also, the speedometer. I think that the caliper should be taken off again. Or can I get this to fit? It's too thick. Caliper. Come on. Where are all the tools? Two hoses and the light caliper. Okay, it will have to swing a bit there. Come on. The wheel axle. And then 14 millimeters. So the screw is starting to come through. Not, and again, there's still paint there, so I will do a re-tightening after a week or so here. And that's what this is, this one. So what am I using? I'm using 14 socket and a 19 socket. this block better under the wheel. Okay. There we have the wheel and then the caliper again. Yes. So it spins, then there's just that little wire holder. Let's see here. You see it should be, oh, just a second. There we have it. This needs to get in there. Oops. There it sits. Fine. Then I would say that the bike is in one. Then the bike is in kind of one piece again with a working fork. So not leaking, new paint, rubber protection, really good. All right, so a bit of work, but I think it's of course worth it. So that's all from Hoist Garage today. Take care. Bye bye.